Hello, players.
Excited for another evening of Dungeons and Dragons.
Good answer. Somebody doesn't want the zombie of doom to be sent to their PC. That's good.
Sucking up to DM +2.
Plus, how's everybody's week been?
Busy.
I hear that.
Baby, plus we're moving.
Oh, yeah.
How soon do you guys move?
This house closes on the 19th. We get to stay here until like the 6th of next month. And our house we're buying closes on the 29th.
Okay.
29th of July or 29th of August?
This month.
Okay.
So all the moving happens in like, we're hiring a moving company because I have like, when I was younger, I had a right knee and a left knee. Now I've got my like only slightly broken knee and my broken knee.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's see. All right. By the clock on the system tray, it looks like we are at about 7:30. So, I want to say welcome everybody tonight to Greyhawk Saturday Nights. And we are here for session 9 called Back to Hommlet Again. Our characters have been bouncing back and forth between the little village of Hommlet that has been acting as their base of operations and source of supplies, and the Old Moathouse out in the wilderness, not all that far away from town, where they have investigated the ground floor. And they have gone down. They've taken one of the two ways they have found down into the basement and explored around. They are aware of a few more items or critters that are down there. There's this inconvenient zone of perpetual darkness, magical darkness that is going on down there that they have to figure out how to do something about. And they have recovered some chains of office from some of the officers. They brought back a prisoner, and they know that they have a monster in the well, probably a couple of ghouls to deal with, and who knows what may be down that other stairway that they haven't been down. And by the way, they never found that stairway going back up. So there may be a whole nother section of the basement that they haven't yet explored. But for now, they recovered quite a bit and want to go back to the village and be able to process what they have. So, players, you had, if memory serves, you had returned to Hommlet before the end of the last session. You had taken the badges of office for someone to look at the temple. Tuck said he wasn't aware of what those were, but keep them with you, and he'll have one of the senior clerics come meet with you later. And then I think you did something with your prisoner, dropped him off somewhere. so that he could be held and or interrogated and or whatnot. So, and then back at the Inn of the Welcome Wench, you had another nice dinner, and there was a bit of a celebration of your exploits and your valor. And what would you guys like to do next?
Wow, we're a really interesting group tonight.
Archimedes would tell a song and of the good deeds that we did.
I don't remember any of this. I remember wanting to go back to town, but I don't remember doing anything in town. It sounds like we did a lot.
Oh, we're in town now, right?
We kind of hand waved that you had stuff that you guys really haven't done a lot, but we just sort of narrated that you popped in here, you went there. We didn't really do a lot at those places. So
Yeah, we just had a prisoner with the priests, the local religious order, and then went to the inn. And I think that's where we stopped.
Okay, well, I don't want to do anything until the next day, in which case I need to buy more darts.
okay, all right.
Yeah, I think Nika needs a bath.
Yeah, it's kind of evening, so there's not really going to be much to do at the inn unless you guys want to talk to any of the village council or people like that. Or if you want to, you can wait until tomorrow, the next game day, to do all the usual overnight stuff, and then figure out things you need to buy, things you need to sell, anything you might need to get appraised, and those types of things. I believe
the group is tired.
Yeah.
Do we want to get I think we were talked about having a priest create a continual daylight spell to counter that darkness. Do we want to get them started on that right away?
That's not how it works. You have to cast the continual light right at the continual darkness. You can't take a continual darkness, a continual light object in and just toss it at it. That's not how it works. You have to actually target that spell.
If you brought a continual light object into the continual darkness area, it would create it would neutralize it temporarily while it's in it, and then the prevailing light condition would apply.
Temporarily
while
until you took the continual light object away from the darkness.
Correct.
In which case it would return. That's a waste of time.
Where we left off last time, we dropped off the prisoner, mentioned that there was the spell, and then went to the inn. And they said that they would talk the priests would talk amongst themselves, see what they could think about doing in the future. But we didn't really play that out.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's a priest willing to come with us and to counter the continual darkness, it's a waste of time. Or cast it on the scroll so we can cast it on the continual darkness.
Yeah, when you guys, when the priests come to take a look at those necklaces of office, you can ask them about that, and they can, you can find out whether somebody could do that and what they would want for doing that, if they would want anything, yada yada.
So I think we should get some food, get some rest. And then in the morning, go take care of all the different financial stuff and talk to the priest some more about those necklaces and the continual darkness area. And if you all want to, I can take all the weapons and armor that was used and ask the blacksmith locally, either pay or ask permission to use the forge, and I can fix. I have armor and weaponsmith, so I can fix any of the damage so we can get the maximum value for them.
Okay. All right.
And if it can be resized, I'd want to use some of my money to buy the plate mail off the party.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So, anything specific that people want to do in the evening before we advance to the next game day? Somebody said something about getting a bath. Somebody said something about performing, which, unless there's anything in particular you want to deal with, that those can be done off screen. Anything urgent that people need to do before the PCs turn in for the night?
No, I think that would be it. That'd be it for our committee.
Okay, then morning breaks, and you hear all of the stonemasons. They grumble because now it means they're going to be delayed on fixing the tower and building the tower while they go and they have to repair the dawn because it's broken again. But they go and deal with that. And as the day dawns, there's the smells of breakfast wafting up. And it's not long before some familiar figures trundle into the inn looking for food. Namely, those are 3 of the local council, or 4 of the local council members in McHeath, Zert, Elmo, and Tuck. They all come over and grab a table, and they wave to you guys and say, "Well, another fine, successful expedition. I see you brought back another prisoner and have another pile of loot."
Yes, and this prisoner.
How was the hunting?
It just doesn't feel like a victory to me.
We're alive. That's victorious enough.
Yes, we survived, but I don't feel victorious.
Tuck says, "Yes, they told us at the temple last night that the leader of these cult forces got away. And I think at the midday meal, the senior cleric is going to come over and have a look at these chains of office." And he looks at the other council members. He says, "I don't know if any of you would like to come and have a look at them. I didn't recognize them, but we may find out more about this Lareth, as he was apparently called. Also sounds like he was quite potent. Apparently there's now an area of continual darkness underneath there, cast by this leader before he fled. So we're going to see if there's something we can do about that to help them out." And Zert says, "Well, that's no good. Hopefully one of the clerics can whip up a scroll, or maybe would want to go and consecrate the area. I seem to remember hearing a report about some undead they found down there. Probably wouldn't hurt to go and see if there's any catacombs or anything, sprinkle some holy water, do some blessings in the name of the gods to drive out anything that might be in there." And Tuck says, "Yes, it's a possibility." And Elmo just sits there in thought and says, "So, how many forces would you say that you encountered down there? These folk that were dressed with these cloaks. with the eyes on them.
30?
30. That's a sizable group. Larger than the number of bandits.
At least one captain, a couple sergeants at least, and like large numbers of squads. Plus, there were bugbears that were working for them, and the main person was either a priest or some sort of evil magic user wearing plate mail that was very nice, but had like a really interesting staff and kept swearing by his goddess.
I think it was a priest.
And McKeith says, well, I wish we could get down there and get rid of that continual darkness. That priest had a very nice, very fancy armor. I wonder what else he might have. Maybe they have records down there. If you could get into his quarters, find that out.
Yeah, we saw
Hopefully.
the door came out of, but we couldn't. The continual darkness spell made the entire area almost impossible to deal with, especially since there's some ghouls running around.
I understand. I wouldn't send you folk back down in there without being able to mitigate that darkness. I don't know much about the ways of magic, but I think if a priest puts a continual light spell in the right place, it will negate the darkness. You'll still need torches, of course. At least those of you who don't have the eyes of a dwarf. Ha ha ha.
Or no.
Or an elf. Yes.
Are we all there?
All of you that
All
want to
in?
be. Talon is sleeping in.
Okay.
Since Casca couldn't make it tonight because of work, Talon is sleeping in.
So the Min kind of looks at him and goes, "You're a cat."
And just a note to everyone, before bed, I would have like patched up anybody and like checked in on you. And that with the healing plus herbalism, you can get 3 hit points back with a good night's rest instead of just 1.
Okay, so any of those of you that need hit points can have them back. I think actually I should double check with everyone. Is most people have by this point had enough to raise to 2nd level, right?
I finally hit
Yes.
level 2.
Ah, okay. So
I desperately need help leveling my character up.
Okay. All right. Well, that is. Oh, okay. So Nico is now 3rd level. All right. Whoops. So let's do this.
Priests and rogues are probably at 3rd, and everybody else is probably at 2nd.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start off by, and we'll say that Min, you've had a full night's rest, so your hit points are all up, and let's go through the process that we need to do to get Min from 1st to 2nd level. So we're going to go to the classes, and Min is a mage, correct?
That is correct.
All right. So, first of all, hit points are easy. You get 3 hit points plus any Constitution bonus.
Okay, attributes. I don't have a Constitution bonus, so I get a total of 7 hit points. Woo!
Okay, yeah. 7 is better than 4. Makes you a little more survivable. All right.
Just a little.
Yeah, then let's see. At second level, you now have 2 spell slots. So you have 2 first level spells that you will be able to memorize. And in this edition of the game, I believe we're still at the point where if you wanted to have sleep available 2 times, you would have to memorize sleep 2 times. It wasn't, I believe, until 3rd edition that you got to the point where you are able to figure out what spells you want, and then if
Now,
you
is
have
this-
spell slots, you can just...
Is this like, if I have a spell book, I'm only allowed to have 2 spells in that spell book, or
No. You can have more spells in your spell book. The only spells you can memorize are first level spells.
correct?
So if you run across higher level spells,
Okay.
there's a... I have to double check the rules in this edition to see if you can even transcribe higher level spells into your spell book yet, or if you have to wait until you get those. But in other words, you
doable.
can't.
It's a penalty.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you can have more than 2 spells in your spell book, but you have to choose 2 spells to memorize every day, unless you don't cast one, and then you can keep the one you have if you want to keep it and just memorize another one to fill up that slot. So basically, if you have empty slots or if you want to change them out, you have to spend the time to memorize those spells every morning. So what spells does Min have in her spell book? Let's take...
Sleep and color spray.
Okay. All right. She hasn't run across any other spells yet. Okay.
Not to my knowledge, unless somebody else is taking scrolls.
Okay. All right. Then that would... There might be an opportunity, because there is a higher level magic user in the town. There might be an opportunity to do some training with His Magnificence Lord Burne, and perhaps get some training from him if there are spells that you think you might want to add to your repertoire.
Okay.
And other than that, we would, of course, be looking at anything that you would find on scrolls. Now, let me just take a quick look here at the scrolls you have gathered so far.
Under the impression
treasure
whatever we gathered
reach.
had already been snatched up.
Well, if there are any scrolls with wizard spells, nobody else can use those.
Except the bard.
Yeah, the bard could potentially use those.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
But I don't think. Right? Loot silver frog legs, loot treasure.
Impression we hadn't gotten any wizard scrolls yet.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Shame on the GM. I'm just kidding. Shame on you.
Don't blame me. Blame Gary Gygax. He's the one that wrote this.
Well, we know he didn't like wizards, so.
Yeah, that's why he gave him only 4 hit points.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, yeah, I don't believe you guys have run across any yet. So, just be on the lookout to see if there are any of those types of things that you may want to add. All right. So that should get Min up to 2nd level. Really not a whole lot else to do at this level. Now, what would other people like to do this morning?
I'm going to go buy more darts.
Okay. There's people going shopping. Nico,
Go shopping.
Nico, the stuff that you have is pretty much it's pretty serviceable.
Okay.
What you find as you're inspecting it is that you might need to polish it up a little bit. The other thing that I will tell you, obviously, you guys are free to RP stuff if you want, and it might make a difference, it might not. But in my games, unless something is like just really super special or really falling apart, any merchant is going to give you half book value for it. Unless Gary Gygax tells me otherwise in the instructions.
Listen to that, man.
Then for narrative fluff, I would have spent a little bit of time polishing and sharpening and making all the stuff ready to be sold, even though it won't make any difference really in for value. Although, seeing if it was who knows how to do appraisal in our group.
It's actually the thief who isn't here. But
I have armor smith. I probably know, or the merchant can tell us. But I wanted to find out how much the plate was going to be purchased for, and then I want to pay the party for the plate if it's something that I could refit to myself.
Okay, equipment lists. The plate mail. Armor. Okay. The field plate, which is basically the functional plate mail that you would use to fight in. Now, there's something called full plate, which is used for 2 purposes. It's used for jousts at tournaments, and it's used for ceremonial things because
was
it's
the captain in field plate.
Yeah, the captain was in field plate.
That's what I'm looking at.
So that is 60 pounds, and the retail price for that is 2,000 gold pieces. So selling it as a party, you guys would get 1,000 gold pieces for it.
So if the party's okay with it, I'll give up 1,000 of my gold and put that into the party's money to be split later, however many ways.
I'm not really crazy about taking money somebody using something that's going to help the party.
We can always use the money like on
That just sounds ridiculously mercenary to me. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Okay.
How much money have we got?
Well, we can start to figure that out based on the.
So, Nico, you've
sorry, I
been
was just talking to
hoarding.
myself.
Okay.
You've been hoarding 1,000 gold pieces, Nico.
Isn't that what we have?
I got 800 in the bank, so yeah. I mean, that's not out of the question.
Oh no, I don't
it's
have
all
that.
in the bank.
I'm looking at the wrong line on my thing. It's got the weird conversion, and I was looking at the wrong part. I've got 553 gold pieces, plus whatever we have to split up still.
Yeah, because you guys haven't liquidated all the stuff since you've been back to the Moathouse the second time. So that was starting in session 6.
The currency conversion calculator has like the grayed out numbers in it, and I was misreading the grayed out like example numbers, thinking that's what I had for a second.
Yeah, so what I am going to do is I'm going to open Notepad over here. And I am going to make a list. Starting with the stuff from
session 2.
Session 6. So I have hide armor times 5. Morning Star times 5. Times 6. And chain mail times 1. And there is I will look up and have Casca appraise the silver bracelet with the gems from the Bugbear Leader, because that was not appraised before. All right, so from session, that takes care of everything from session 6 and session 7. Now session 8, we have dagger times 18.
Have we been splitting the money, guys?
We've only split money one time, and that's when everybody was at that shop, and then everybody put their money in the bank. That's the only time we split anything so far.
Oh, that's right. We put money in the bank.
Okay.
And then
that was the same day you pranked that one lady.
Okay.
And then we prepaid the.
That's right.
Mortgage or whatever.
We prepaid for a year. Almost everybody did. I know I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Moathouse, yeah.
8.
I can't remember how much I put in the bank. I think I was half asleep.
Okay, and then there's plate mail times 1. There's 1 hand axe times 1. And there's another dagger, so dagger times 3. All right. So the silver bracelet from the hobgoblin recruits. Okay.
There's no way to know that. I mean, we didn't all have the same. I never bought armor with my starting gold, so I had more money than the average person might have.
Okay. The bracelet or the item that the bugbear leader was wearing as a bracelet is actually, as Casca starts looking at it, it's a silver necklace. And that silver necklace is worth 450 gold pieces. And I'm just going to add this to the treasure sheet. So this goes in session 6, I think. Yep. Okay, so bracelet. Uh, 50 gold pieces each. And then worth 100 gold pieces. Okay, gems. And okay. All right, so the necklace is worth 450 gold pieces. It's got 5 gems. The 4 small gems are worth 50 gold each, and the large gem is worth 100 gold. So,
Just a quick note, our wizard men might want to consider keeping a couple of assorted gems because down the road you're going to probably need some of those for spellcasting components.
yeah, and the other thing we had determined is the captain's purse that you guys got last week. They specify what gems are in there.
Right.
So there's 3 amethysts, 8 pieces of fine coral, 9 red garnets, 6 pearls, and 3 tourmalines. And then apparently the gemstones from this bracelet or necklace are all gems of cryopraise.
Cryo.
So that is... So that's which makes it kind of an olive to apple green gemstone. Right, so you guys can figure out whether you want to sell that, and of course the necklace itself is really not worth much of anything. All the value comes from the gems. So if you want to sell that necklace as a piece, you'll get, it's worth 450 gold. If you want to just pick out the gemstones and either sell those individually, 4 of them are worth 50 gold pieces. 1 of them is worth 100. And the silver necklace is just a nice ornamental silver necklace for somebody. Not really worth a whole lot. But getting back to the loot you guys have, the hide armor. We're gonna call that leather armor in this edition because That is so that's 2.5. And the morning stars are. Oh, and now I'm gonna just get all of this.
Hide armor and leather armor are distinct in this edition. The hide armor is like 15 gold. The leather is 5.
Yeah, and the AC is different for them. AC for
Because
hide.
druids can wear hide armor, but they can't.
Oh,
wear,
that's right. That's right. The hide is. I was looking at the list and I wasn't seeing it.
Was it hiding?
It was hiding. That's exactly what it was doing. It was hiding from me. Ba-dum-bum. Then.
Yeah, I think hide is AC 6, and it's double the weight and like you say, it's 10 more gold for hide.
The chainmail. That's. Then the scale mail that's gonna be that's gonna be 6. We'll call those medium. 3.5. The plate mail is 1,000. All right, so that takes care of the armor. Now let me go to the weapons. Take a look at the weapons. So that is 5 each. The dagger is 1 GP each. The crossbow are So 15, 17 each. The crossbow. Warhammers are. Oh, 1 each. And the sword is 30, and the hand axe is Oh, all right. So the 5 sets of hide armor are worth 7 gold, 5 silver each. The mornings, and this is to sell them. Morning Star, you'll get 5 gold for each of those. 3 sets of chainmail, you can get 37 gold, 5 silver for each one. Daggers, there's 21 of those in total. You can get 1 gold each. There's 18 sets of of scale mail, and you can get 60 gold for selling each of those. The shields, you can get 3.5 or 3 gold, 5 silver for each one. There's a total of 4 crossbows. Now, that's after the gnolls took a couple of those. So, and I don't know if anybody in the party was thinking about trading out one of their weapons for a crossbow or adding a crossbow. But those can be sold for 17 gold, 5 silver each. 2 warhammers for 1 gold each. That plate mail is worth 1,000 gold if it's sold. Longsword is 7 gold, 5 silver. And the hand axe is 5 silver. So if you know, I guess actually what I should do is I should just go down the list one item at a time and find out, are you selling all or keeping some? And then I'll tell you how much you get from that. So let's go with the hide armor. There's 5 sets of that. Are you selling all 5 sets of those, or is anybody keeping hide armor?
No, I don't need it.
I'm not interested.
I say we sell it.
Okay.
I'm magical, right?
None of them is magical. Okay, so that's 37 gold pieces and 5 silver pieces from selling that. There are 8 morning stars. Anybody going to take a morning star, or are we going to sell all of those?
No need for a morning star for me.
No, can't use it.
You take
Okay.
those indicators?
You get 40 gold from that sale. Then there's 3 sets of chain mail. Anybody want chain mail?
Nope.
Let's see. No, I'm good. I got the ring mail from one of the first guys that we got anyway, so good with that.
Okay,
Leave
that's
it
where. That's
I
worth.
think chain is 1 AC better than ring. If you care about that sort of thing, which of course I don't.
Chainmail may also be heavier.
You're too heavy. Yeah, I think that's what it was. The chainmail was going to be too heavy. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
All
I
right.
understand that. That's why I don't wear armor.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
chainmail is 40 pounds and ring mail is 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never wear either one of those. The hell.
Yeah, so selling the 3 sets of chainmail will get you 112 gold pieces and 5 silver pieces. Does anybody want? There's 21 daggers. Does anybody want any of those?
I'll take the dagger. Yeah, I'll take one
Okay,
dagger.
so we're down to 20.
They're also good backups for throwing weapons.
Yeah, unless there's anything special about them, I've got some daggers, so I don't need any more.
Okay. Any other?
I got 2 bandoliers and daggers that I bought from the start of the game, so yeah, I don't need it. If there's nothing special about them.
Min, you were going to say something?
Oh, nothing. Somebody's messing with their microphone.
Yeah.
It's annoying, but I understand.
So 20 gold pieces from the sale of the 20 daggers after Archimedes takes one. There's 18 sets of scale mail. Anybody want scale mail?
Any takers? Old.
Okay.
I'm going to say guards should be allowed to wear scale mail because they do scales.
Ba-dum-bum. That is the big. That's the big treasure haul of this bit. You get 1,080 gold from selling the 18 sets of scale mail. Now there's 20 shields. Does anybody need a shield? And these are all medium what the book calls medium-sized bucklers, which I think that's a incorrect thing, because I've always thought of a buckler as something that just kind of goes on your arm.
Right.
I think a medium shield is actually something that you have to grip onto as well.
Yeah.
That's right. A small shield will protect you against 1 melee attack. Medium will protect you against 2, and a large against 3 melee attacks.
Yeah.
So that's a medium shield. That's a typo of some sort.
Yeah. All right. Anybody want any of those?
Mm-mm.
No, yeah, I don't think I'm allowed to use. Not allowed.
Okay. So there's 70 gold pieces from the shields.
What are you, a bard?
Yep.
I'm not aware that bards can't use shields. I think they can use up to chainmail and a shield. I think I should look at that.
Lute.
There's 4 crossbows.
Just a correction: medium shields can protect any frontal or flank attacks. It's the small shield that's the limited number, and then bucklers are less.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I think when they made this table, they messed that up. They messed up the way they did the indenting on that table. It's weird. All right. No takers on the crossbows?
No, not on this side.
Okay, that's also a total of 70 gold pieces. Now, there's a total of 116 crossbow bolts that came along with those. I presume that if anybody already has a crossbow, they might take a few of those, but I don't know how many crossbows we have floating around in the party at the moment, if any.
I thought there was one person who was it Alan that has a crossbow, or does he have a bow? I think it's a bow. No, I think it's a bow.
Yeah, I think everyone has bows.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be 5 gold pieces and 8 silver pieces for the 116 crossbow bolts. There's 2 warhammers. We need a warhammer. Okay, that's
Dwarves? Need dwarves for the warhammers?
I have one.
Oh,
okay. So that's 2 gold pieces from selling that. Plate mail, I think we've established that Nico wants to keep that. So.
And we can talk about Nico paying the party or putting mine into a party pool, because I already got a shield.
I don't like that.
I feel a little guilty.
I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like him having to pay the party for taking something that's going to benefit the party.
Okay. Is there any objection? I as long as everybody's on the same page, you guys can handle that however you want. I don't have a preference.
Well, here's the thing I'm thinking. For example,
okay, go ahead.
So like the reason Nico would want to throw in some money for it is simply he knows it's going to be expensive for other group members to upgrade. For example, Min is going to need to talk to a wizard who's going to be expensive. So
negative. I just no.
So Nico will take the generosity of the group, but then separately mention to Madam Min that he's willing to help out with the spells because the group's been so generous, and usually this would cost the 1,000 gold. So he's
It's-
learned.
Okay.
It sets a bad precedent. I don't like that. I mean, if
Okay,
you take
so-
it just to profit off of it, then yeah, we should all get a cut. But that's not the case. You use
Okay,
it.
whoever has music on in the background, please mute your mic.
It's my phone, man. I'm sorry. It's my phone.
Okay. All right. Here's what I propose, and see if anybody objects. I think Jera brings up a good point, and nobody seems to object that the party's not going to require anybody to pay in order to take a piece of loot that is a benefit to them and by extension benefits the rest of the party. And then I think it is up to the individual. So Nico, I don't want you to conflate the two. It's up to the individual party member that if they feel like they want to take some of their own treasure and put it into party treasure to benefit other people, that's just something you do on your own. It's not something you have to tell everybody about.
Okay, well then, narratively, I would have whispered over to Min, hey, when you go talk to that wizard, let me send some extra gold with you because it's going to be expensive. Them magic user types.
Okay, all right, that'll be good because then
first I will talk to the wizard first to see how much he'll charge me.
okay. There is one longsword. Do we have anybody that wants the longsword?
Sure.
Okay, so that's Archimedes.
Take the longsword. Yep.
All right, it's a serviceable longsword. And then there is one hand axe that can be used as either a melee or a throwing weapon. All right, and
Takers there.
and that's 5 silver pieces. So I'm gonna add up all the silver pieces first. We have 5 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5. All right, so that is. And then. All right, and then we'll add up the. 40, 20, 80, 20, yeah, 5 plus 2. Yeah. Okay, so that is 1,438 gold pieces and 3 silver pieces. So I will put that into the party treasure sheet. I'm going to add this. Okay. I'm going to go here, start a new line for session 9. So session 9. And then this is this is liquidating loot from sections 6 through 8 equals whoops. Okay. Okay, so that will then you guys 14, 38 gold, 3 silver. Somebody's probably already doing nope, somebody's not doing that now. Somebody can figure out what 1438 gold divided 6 ways is. Or maybe I can do that since I have the calculator right there.
Divided by 6?
Yeah, it looks like it.
239.
Yep.
And then silver pieces would be, what is that?
6 and 3, there would be 9 silver pieces left over total.
Okay.
So
Somebody would
actually
be
10 silver pieces left over. So yeah.
Some gold piece? Okay.
One extra odd gold piece. So 239 and then somebody would get 240 or the extra one would go in party treasure. And then
So everybody gets 239 gold pieces?
Yep.
Okay.
239 gold pieces for PC. These two party treasure. Okay. Then so then we'll just save that. All right. So we have that, and then where did I jot down? I jotted down which doesn't help you guys, but I jotted it down over here. In the 2nd edition game. Session log. I jotted down, I think it was on okay. Here we go. The money that you guys have at the money lender, I'm gonna put these in PMs to you guys. So let's do this. That was from what you. These amounts are from what you did earlier, not from today. So it's just a quick reminder for everybody's benefit. Then we'll do that. Okay. Then one for the one for where is okay, that's weird. Then there's Archimedes. And this way, now that I've given them to you, I don't have to keep track of this. Yeah, you guys can keep track of how much you are adding to your own accounts from here on out. And then Min. All right. That answers a question that Heather had about what there was. Okay. Yes. All right. So, somebody asked about prepaying for room and board at the Inn of the Welcome Wench, and you guys can do that. All right. And Heather had to step away because groceries delivered. And now we're... Okay. So now we have a few people that needed to buy some things. Garm, you wanted to replace your darts.
Quintuple.
And-
Yeah, I assume there will be book price from the Smith. No.
Yeah, I did. Did you already spend the gold for it, or did you need?
No,
a
I
price
haven't
on
spent.
this?
I haven't spent it yet, but I mean, I have the PH. I thought. I would think it would be just what it would cost to buy a new. The book list or
Yeah,
something crazy.
yeah. It's just list price.
Okay.
So, all right. So as long as you have the PHB, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure you had that price there. All right.
Oh yeah.
Since we're talking to the temples, is there any chance that they would sell a vial or two of holy water and any more of those healing potions?
Is there a chance? Yes, there is.
And how many?
Because I'm out of both, and I need the holy water for bless spells, and I need healing potions to give away.
Okay. Yes. Giveaway to new converts. The holy water is 25 gold pieces per vial. That is their suggested donation.
Okay, I'll pay for 4 of those.
Okay. Then I think I have to go to magic items to find the potion of healing. So that might be in this one over here.
Mostly they were like 50 or.
I think they are too. I think it's.
I think that's what we did it, and then because what I have in the bank is what I wrote down was that I took the odd change out and purchased all my goods, so I had an even amount. I changed gold into platinum pieces and just that's what's in the bank. So that's what I have down on my notes is that I have now I have 80 platinum pieces in the bank.
Wow. Okay. Inflation. There's been inflation since first edition to second edition.
There goes the gold standard.
Yeah. All right. So, I do recall that in first edition, potions of healing, I think in the book were 50 gold, but in this edition, they are 200 gold. Now, they are 200 gold, but let's see. After you guys get a chance to chat with the clerics, let's see how much they're going to charge you. So
that's big city prices. This is little Hommlet, so Hommlet it's a little bit low.
It might be, yeah. It's also that ye old magic shop for first time customer, first time visitor. This is what you pay. Versus, oh yeah, you guys are the local adventuring
Stars.
crew
Yeah,
that goes around and takes care of all the local problems. So maybe there's a discount for locals.
To the celebrity.
Yeah, somewhat of a celebrity. All right. Yeah. All right. So Jara or Garm got his darts. Nico, is there anything specific you needed to buy?
I just bought those 4 holy waters for 25 each, and I'll wait on finding out how much the healing potions are. But I'm willing to spend up to 600 on it.
Okay.
But I'd rather spend less than have money to give them in, because I know that the scrolls and everything are going to be expensive.
Okay. Archimedes, anything in particular that you wanted to buy?
I spent 20 gold to get 40 more darts, by the way.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Another set of 20 arrows.
Another set of 20 arrows, and let's see.
How many? I think it's like 1 gold or 2 gold or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll get you the flight arrow. Okay, go ahead.
They were the chief arrows is what I bought.
Sheaf arrows, they are 3 silver pieces for every 6 arrows. So
right. Okay.
Yeah, so call it
gold piece for
2 gold
18.
pieces for 20.
Okay.
And
it's
then
a little
Quinn
bit of
bought
inflation.
a set of flight
fine.
arrows and a set of sheaf arrows.
Perfect.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why in this edition they sell them in bundles of 12 and 6, but they do. So it seems like every other edition they sell them in bundles of 20. It's like, okay, second edition, why do you have to do that?
Let's go with a baker's dozen or just a really standard dozen.
Yeah, really. All right. So, blah, blah, blah. We've got that. And Quint, you bought those arrows. Anything else that you needed?
No, that's it as far as I can think of.
Do we need rope?
Okay.
Do we tie
you
anybody?
Guys need more rope?
Yeah. I would think I would buy another 50 foot of rope if we've been using rope to do certain things like that. So I'll spend whatever 50-foot rope and a grappling hook.
I've got that. I'll give it to you. I wasn't going to carry it anymore because it was putting me over my weight limit. I have a grappling. But I can give that to Archimedes. Quint can give that to Archimedes.
Oh yeah, I do. All right.
Okay. That always works.
Oh yeah.
I will take it off my sheet and you can add it to yours.
All right.
Okay. And last but not least, Min.
Yes.
You are interested in actually going and talking to his lordship, the most inestimable Burne, to find out how much he would be willing to help you with learning spells. Correct?
And if there's a group discount, Archimedes will go with
and if there's a group discount. Okay, well,
Archimedes will go with her and discover what he could learn.
A look like, really? You're going to intrude in on my personal time? She doesn't say anything out loud.
Sure. Need to learn. I need to learn some spells. I saw you doing the little containings. I'm gonna try to learn.
She still just gives him a dirty look.
All right. So they they will. You guys will go towards the large new building, or no, the two-storied tower. The inside this tower dwell the retired adventurers Rufus the Fighter and his lordship Burne the Magnificent, the magic user. Both of them arrived in Hommlet about 3 years ago after having considerable success in adventuring. The primary treasure haul that they have comes from breaking up a ring of bandits that were operating out of the major city of Verbalbank. And it is rumored that they killed a green dragon and took its hoard. So they are, that is where they got their treasure. And the magic user, Burne, there's a sign, and there's actually a couple of people that are on guard at the tower. And as Archimedes and Min walk up, they say, "Hello, friends. Welcome to the home of His Most Worshipful Mage of Hommlet, Burne, and the Defender of the Freelands, Rufus. How can we help you?"
Archimedes
And
is
they look
staring at Min.
She looks at him and goes, "You wanted to come on. You just
Okay.
go right ahead."
Looking to maybe make a deal to do some spells. See what the price range, if you would, of spell learning.
Oh. Well, if you wish to come and make an appointment to visit His Magnificence, to learn spells from him, I would be happy to put you on his appointment book. I am afraid that today and tomorrow he is booked up solid with work in his laboratory. But the day after tomorrow, he might be able to work you in.
Oh, well, jot me down for the afternoon. I'd like to.
Okay, afternoon. And ma'am, will you be coming at the same time?
Yes.
Oh, okay, wonderful. And may I say, you're quite unusual coloration there. I haven't seen that coloration before.
I'm a little flushed. Sorry.
I wasn't talking to you, sir. I was talking to your companion.
Oh.
So the fur she has is quite an unusual color.
I'm from the north.
Ah.
That's all she says. I'm from the north.
Okay. All right. Then
She looks very sullen.
then he says, "Well, good. We will see you all the day after tomorrow, and I will make sure that His Worshipfulness knows that to students of the arcane arts come to wish to learn more of spellcraft and perhaps peruse any specific spells he has for sale. And if I may ask, what brings you to Hommlet?
We're clearing out the Moathouse.
Oh, that old wreck. Ah, it's good. I know that Rufus had talked last year about perhaps using that place as a training ground for the militia that he wanted to assemble with the town. But unfortunately, the town council and the town master, they dissembled and they argued, and they could not decide how many people they wanted on the militia, or how they would be equipped and how they would be paid. And eventually, Rufus just got tired of dealing with them. So the town militia did not come together in the way that he was proposing. I'm glad that somebody has finally done something about it, though. Good. Have you found anything interesting there?
Interesting as far as the one guy that got away.
Oh, well, I'm sure
he used
that
a continuous darkness that he set upon the place, and we have to get rid of it.
Oh. Well, have you been to the church and told the church about this?
Yes, and I was trying to expedite trying to learn one myself and see if I
I see. Okay. Good man there. Good man. And have you had a chance to speak with the village council formally about all of this yet?
I think we have, haven't we?
No, you have not spoken with them for. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to, yes.
Oh, well, if you can tell me when that meeting is going to be, I will get word to Lord Rufus. I'm sure he would want to be there and hear the report that you have. Yes,
we were going to be doing that later today.
Okay. All right. Well, I will let him know. And is that over at the inn?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Well, I will have Rufus attend.
Perfect.
Or I will tell him about it and see if he wants to attend, which I'm sure he will.
I hopefully will see him there and inquiry myself.
Yes.
Thank you, good.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, mind the construction. Stonemasons are hard at work. This looks like a simple tower now, but within the year, all of this area, and he indicates out to the east from where you are, this is going to be a nice small keep that will house Rufus and Burne, their permanent men-at-arms, and will serve as the center of defense for the village of Hommlet. So if you are residing here, make sure that you check in so that you will be part of the muster that is allowed inside the gates when and if there is ever any trouble here in the town.
Perfect. We would offer the same once we get the keep done on our end. Or the Moathouse, once the Moathouse is.
Oh, Oh, so you are to be the new lords of the Moathouse. Well,
Yeah.
then definitely, you must let Rufus know when you see him, and I'm sure that as you begin work over there, Rufus and Burne would like to have you and your group to dinner and to discuss how you may be. We may form patrols between here and your defensible location so that we can watch the roads more closely.
Very
And keep
nice.
these
Very good.
bandits from getting a foothold in this
We
area.
will definitely shun those bandits away elsewhere.
Good, yes. And all of the nasty vermin that are out in the countryside. Well, I hear tell that there are all kinds of beasts, from goblins to orcs to nasty, dirty gnolls. And
Oh, those dirty gnolls. But some of them are kind of nice, kind of cool.
and he sort of wrinkles his nose at you. Doesn't say anything else.
Not in the book cover. It's what's in the book.
Meanwhile,
Hmm.
Min has just kind of been like sitting there watching this discussion going back and forth.
Well, all right. Thank you all. And good day to you.
And to you. Well met.
Well met. He gives you kind of a warrior salute. And then he and his companion go back to attention as you clamber down the steps and head back off toward the inn, unless you were heading somewhere else.
Oh, that's all I needed to do. I'll head back to the inn.
Okay.
He kind of follows behind you. Don't like talking to those type of people.
All right.
Don't laugh at me.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you.
I wasn't laughing.
Oh, okay. My apology.
No, that's not it. Let's do this. Or better yet, let's do this. Aha. All right. So, later in the day, at the appointed hour, several of the members of the village council will show up along with a priest. And this priest's name, or this cleric's name, is Brother. Let us take a look at where are we? D&D human names. Okay, old. All right. Brother Rule. Okay. So this is going to be Brother Rule or Father Rule. All right. So Father Rule is the senior cleric sent over from the church. McKeith, Zert, and Elmo are obviously the members of the council. And then over here is Lord Rufus. And he is in the chamber as well. And we will see what they all have to say about the necklaces of office that you have found after our break. We're right at the top of the hour. So I'm going to say let's go ahead and take our break now, 10 minutes, and we will be back. We'll be back and we will see what they can tell you about those items. All right, viewers, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We're going to put the music on and we will be back in a little bit. And I'm going to put the timer up here. And I'm going to go on mute while I go grab something to drink. I'll be back.
Is continual light second level cleric? I thought it was higher than that.
Whoops, I was talking to myself with the mute off. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Let's go ahead and move this back over here. Whoops. Nobody needs to see behind the screen there for the way we do the timer. All right. As you get back to the inn, these folks are gathering in the private dining room. And so everybody can go on in there and take a seat. Around the table. All right. Yeah, up in here.
Oh. Beep.
Yeah, where all of the NPCs are. Okay. All right. So they will begin the conversation, and Elmo will introduce Father Rule and Lord Rufus that are here to talk to you and see what they can maybe learn. And Father Rule says, yes, Tuck mentioned that some of the people you fought, the officers, had necklaces of office, and they had some distinctive cloaks. Do you have those necklaces of office with you? And I think the party did keep them. So we'll
Yes,
just say
we
that
saved
the
all of
party.
them. So we hand them the captain's platinum one and then all the other ones.
Oh, I removed one from my. Here you go.
Okay. All right. So Father Rule looks at this.
And the prisoner was still wearing their cloak.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
That way
Elmo
we can
is,
identify him.
yeah, Elmo's kind of fidgeting over there at something. And Father Rule is looking at the necklace of office and says, "You're sure that this came from folk that were under the old Moathouse? You weren't ranging any further afield than that."
100% certain.
He breathes a sigh, and he turns
Their leader was called Lareth or something like that, and had a pretty face until we beat him up for a while. But had an evil staff, was using dark magic, and was calling out to his goddess repeatedly.
And he turns to the dwarf. He says, "Mac, I'm afraid to tell you, but I think this means they're back."
They're back.
And Mac says, "Oh, Father Rule, tell us it's not so." And he holds up the symbol of office, or the necklace of office, and he says, "You see this symbol here? This is the dead giveaway. In the corners of this badge of office, these 4 symbols, they are the symbols for evil elemental air, evil elemental water, evil elemental earth, and evil elemental fire. I know it was some time ago when adventurers from both Greyhawk and Verbabank went and destroyed and sacked and sealed the old tomb of elemental evil, and we thought that was the end of it. Apparently, some evil in that place is stirring again and is rallying people to their cause." And Elmo says, "Oh, I thought as much. I thought that I recognized the eye on that cloak. It was something I had heard about in stories many nights at the inn of the Welcome Wench. It's got that great evil eye." And Father Rule nods gravely and says, Yes. Yes, Elmo. If it's that same lurid yellow eye, and Elmo nods and says, yes, that's it. That's the one that's on the cloak. And Father Rule says, Saint Cuthbert and all the gods of good, save us. Well, adventurers, it looks like you have some work ahead of you.
Mm.
And Lord Rufus says, excuse me, Father Rule, may I see that badge of office? And they look at you like with a question if it's okay to pass it over to Rufus.
Sure.
All right. And they'll hand it to him. He looks at it and he says, Burne and I were very young adventurers in those days, but we did have some part in that. If you all come by tomorrow evening for dinner to our tower, we can give you a little bit of intelligence on the place. Now, have you completely cleared out this Moathouse? And he turns back to the council. He says, what did I tell you last year? I told you we should send some men from the militia. But could you ever decide on how many men should be in the militia? Could you decide how they would be paid? Could you decide how they would be equipped? No, you couldn't. And now, just outside the village, in the ruins of that moat house, this evil stirs again. You're lucky these adventurers came along before we had those cultists pouring into the town and setting every house alight. And the village council members, they sort of look at each other and look at Rufus uncomfortably. And then Rufus looks at you all and says, you've done well. No, I'm sorry, I interrupted one of you. You were trying to answer my question about whether
Watch
you've
the
cleared.
giants take it all. No, we haven't fully cleared it. There's some undead lurking about, and there's some sort of monster in the well. Although that pansy-ass evil priest ran away after casting a continual darkness spell.
Lareth, I believe, was
Lareth.
Lareth.
Very pretty
And-
plate mail.
And Lord Rufus says, Father Rule, I believe you all at the church can assist them with the undead and the matter of the continual darkness. And Father Rule says, why, yes, Lord Rufus, I will go along with them myself. I'm not much of a fighting man, but I can cast some spells to turn undead, and I can consecrate ground once we have destroyed the undead we find there to avoid others from coming back. And I may be able to provide a little bit of healing if it's needed. And Lord Rufus nods and he says, good. And he says, now, are there other casters among your group?
I raise my hand and I look over at Men and Archimedes.
I begrudgingly will raise mine. I'd like to start.
And he says, he looks at Min, he says, Are you a student of the arcane or of the divine magics?
Arcane. So
King.
Arcane. And then he looks at Archimedes. You the same?
yes.
And he looks over at Nico. He says, and what about you?
I'm the world's
Divine.
first dwarven paladin.
Oh, a student of the divine.
I guess
Well,
so.
Well, I can't help you very much, but Archimedes and Min, when you come to dinner tomorrow night, I will entreat my former adventuring companion Burne to do what he can to help you. He remembers well the terrors of that place, the Temple of Elemental Evil. I'm sure that if I remind him a bit, he will be a little more willing to help you. Normally let's just say, my companion, he very much likes his gold. If left to his own devices, I think he would charge you quite a bit for anything he could teach you. I'll see if I can get him to be a little more amenable. And then he turns back to Father Rule and he says, Father Rule, what do you have in way of supplies that these adventurers may be able to take in terms of potions of healing or holy water, things of that nature? And Father Rule says, well, I will of course travel with several potions of healing and an ample amount of vials of holy water. As for the rest of the adventurers, we do have vial or potions that are for sale, for a donation to the temple, I should say. And then Lord Rufus says, I believe if they are working on behalf of the village council, which I think this meeting means they are, then that qualifies them for the local discount, does it not, Father? And Father says, oh, yes, of course. You'll sell it to them at half the going rate. And Lord Rufus nods and says, good. All right, well, you adventurers, you determine how many of the potions of healing you need. And anyone who wants to is welcome to come to dinner tomorrow night. My companion and I will give you what information and what aid we can. For those of you that are arcane casters, hopefully that means you can get something useful out of my colleague Burne. And we will prepare you for the road ahead. I think it would behoove you, Father Rule, to go with them back to the Moathouse when they are ready and finish clearing out that area. Deal with the undead, deal with
Savory.
deal with that darkness. And perhaps there's something that you can find if this Lareth, this leader, if he had quarters or had an office there somewhere, there might be yet some information of value to us.
Very nice.
And so he says, how soon can you all be ready to go back to the Moathouse?
By tomorrow?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow.
And then
Everybody will be healed up by then, right?
Aren't you having dinner with Burn for help tomorrow? So wouldn't it be the next morning?
Yeah.
And Father Rule says, "Well, we will need a couple of days to for the rituals to provide enough potions for a group of their size. So I will not be ready to go tomorrow. It will have to be the day after tomorrow."
Sounds good.
And Lord Rufus says, "Very well, that works out. You all can come to dinner. We'll give you what information we can. You go finish up with the Moathouse, and then you can start. Once we've learned whatever we can find from that place, we can begin to formulate a plan for how you can find and sack what remains of the temple."
Here, here.
And then he goes back and he sits down and he says, "Council members, do you have anything to add to this?" And they look at each other and they look over at him and they look at the priest and they look at you all. And then they say, "No, I think that about covers it." And Rufus says, "Good. Very well."
Does this mean that you're hiring a militia while we start doing this?
And Lord Rufus looks at you and he smiles and he says, "I will have another talk with the mayor about that. I think he can convince the town council it's time to get a militia in this town."
Yes.
All right. Very well. He stands up and he says, "Esteemed council members, thank you." And he looks down at the end of the table. "Father Rule, thank you." And then he looks at you all and says, "Adventurers, good luck, and we will see you tomorrow night." And he turns and he strides out the door.
Interesting fellow.
Nico leans over to the elder dwarven council member and whispers, "Shouldn't we send a message to the next town over with a warning too?"
And McKeith says, "That would be Nulb. Yes, I suppose we should send a message to Nulb. Little good it will do, though. Last time I was in Nulb, it was filled with as many pirates and bandits as it was honorable folk."
Pirates.
Yes. It's a wretched hive of scum and villainy. If there
I'm
ever was
sure
one.
it is.
Hmm.
You must be cautious when going there.
Vegas of Greyhawk. Very nice.
And he says, "Yes, we'll send a message with the next trade caravan that heads to Verbabank. I believe one is leaving in the morning. I'll go pin that and get the approval of the mayor." And so he excuses himself. And he wanders off. And that leaves Elmo and Zert sort of sitting there And Father Rule then eventually gets up and says, well, those potions aren't going to brew themselves. I'll have to go, and you all need me. I'll be at the temple the rest of the day and all day tomorrow. What time do you think you will be leaving the day after tomorrow? First light?
I don't know.
First light sounds
Depends
good.
on how soon we get to bed.
Yeah, we
Your
got to be
beauty
going to
sleep is
the
important. Sorry.
make it a quick dinner.
And he says, very well. And he will then head off himself. He gathers up Tuck. And they all go off to their respective locations. And then eventually Elmo and Zert decide there's not a whole lot they can do here. So they will head on off. All right.
I'm heading to the bar.
Okay. So there's basically some free time this afternoon. Was there any tasks that you guys wanted to do in town, or is there anything that people want to do in particular between now and the time that the group dines with Rufus and Burne?
Archimedes has done what he needed.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything Quint wants to do.
Nope.
I said we will go to dinner.
I'm hungry.
Okay. All right, then here is what we will do. We will do this. We're going to draw out a item here, and we will bring that to the front, and we will put it there. And then we will have a nice table.
Mm-hmm.
That is here. This. And then this. And it is to the front. And it is on this layer as well. All right, so I'll go ahead and get the PCs from this layer, or from this map, and bring you to the map of the tower. I'm going to presume that unless anybody really doesn't want to go along, that everybody will go along. Oh, good. Our communities, and then where is... I have 4 of the 5 of you.
Nico's over by the stairs to the bathtub.
Okay. Yes, okay, way over there. All right. So, I'll copy that. We will go over here. This is our stand-in map for the tower.
How much is a cask of their high quality ale or mead? because it's not good to go to someone's house for dinner without something to drink. Old dwarven tradition.
Old dwarven tradition. Okay.
Like the nicest bottle, or the nicest like pony keg or whatever, something smaller, but like a hand keg of mead or ale that would be like nice for even dwarves.
Okay. Would be a that would be 10 gold pieces.
All right, so I pay 10 gold and carry a nice cask with us to bring up as like a guest gift.
Okay. All right. That is very much appreciated by your hosts.
Do the same thing with 4 bottles of wine. Medium,
Okay.
not a full like a whole big one, but medium, good ale or good wines.
Wine by the bottle. Okay.
4 gold.
Yeah. A good wine is going to be $1 per bottle, or a gold piece per bottle. That's good wine. That's not like the real fancy.
Oh yeah,
super expensive.
yeah. I ain't going to that, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But suitable as a house gift, fine wine as a
Yes.
dinner gift, something like that. All right. What was I doing? I was over here on this. I had this guy. I'm going to bring him to this level. I am
Bring a dead bird.
Really?
You didn't ask what kind of bird.
Is it already feathered and suitable for basting and cooking?
No. She actually brings like a dead goose. It's just carrying it by its neck.
Okay.
Someone say that you had to bring a gift, so she went out and killed a goose. There you go.
All right.
She's providing for her group of people.
So at the table we have Lord Rufus, and then over here we have the most worshipful Burne, and then we have the rest of the party, and it can sit around the table. This is a large table in the main hall of the tower, and right now there's not a lot of furnishings up yet, other than the big table and the chairs around it. You can see where they are still building out some of the paneling and things like that, doing some finishing work on the interior of this tower hall. And Lord Rufus says, welcome. Yes, please be seated. And then he looks at the keg of ale that Nico brought. Says, "Oh, wonderful! That looks very good." And he looks at the bottles of wine Archimedes brought, and he says, "Oh, these will be very welcome." Burne, this looks like a vintage that you enjoy. And Burne looks at one of the bottles and says, yes, very nice. Ooh, this is a very fine vintage. Thank you very much for bringing this wine." And then Lord Rufus looks at the goose and looks at Min and looks at the goose and looks at Min.
She's just got this big smile like,
And looks at
I'm
the
replacing
goose.
what we ate.
And then he calls to one of the servants and he says, would you deal with that? And one of the servants comes over and says, my lady, I can take this. Thank you very much. I'll take it to the kitchens and hang it up. Get it ready for plucking.
Thank you.
Uh,
Caught it myself.
And he looks at Min, doesn't say anything. He just sort of looks over at Nico, raises an eyebrow, looks at Quint and Garm, and then he just turns back to Min and gives a little smile. He says, how thoughtful of you. And
kind of looks at him like, huh? That's what I thought. No idea how to accept a gift from the likes of me.
And they will they make a nice spread at the table. There's roast of beef, and there's some roasted fowl, and there's also potatoes and field vegetables, and there's a nice fresh salad at the beginning of the meal. There's soup. There's about 3 or 4 different kinds of loaves of bread that are brought during the meal that go with different things. And then for dessert, there is a raspberry cobbler that they have made, or that the cook has made. And so it's a very, very tart, but also very sweet raspberries. So it's got that nice mixture of flavors in that dessert. And they will listen to your tales about going and fighting the, what you found at the Moathouse and the condition you found it in. And they are curious about the giant monsters you found there. And Burne seems very intrigued when you talk about the staff that this Lareth had, as well as the continual darkness. And he says, "Oh, yes. Well, by the way he was using that staff, I would guess it's some kind of weapon. Perhaps something." Now, it didn't turn into a snake, so it wouldn't be a Staff of the Serpent, but maybe something like Staff of Striking or something like that. As you say, it didn't launch any lightning bolts or any fire or anything.
He did hit the wall with it and put a huge dent in the wall.
Ah, yes. Well, that would most likely be a staff of striking. You're lucky you didn't get hit with that. That can smart quite a bit. And, then as also during the meal, Burne will ask Archimedes and Min if there are any spells in particular they are interested in learning.
The one spell that gives Archimedes ultimate power. Anything else will do.
And Burne says, I haven't found that one yet, and I'm not sure I would share it with anyone if I did know it. Not unless they were a really, really good friend.
Ah.
I don't know you all well enough for that yet. And he says, and what about you, Lady Min?
Thinks for a minute. I really don't know. I don't even know what you know. So I don't know what I want to choose.
And he...
Perhaps if we had a menu.
And
I agree.
he nods and he says, well, tell me, what rank of spells have you mastered at this point? Is it the first rank? Have you mastered the second rank of spells yet?
I'm looking to start. I believe Min has already mastered some. She's done quite well helping us out.
I know color, spray, and sleep.
Oh, color, spray, and sleep. Well, I it turns out, some time ago, I lost my initial spell book. I know it's horrible. It was destroyed in one of the battles that we had. And that was the one that had sleep in it. I, at the current time, do not have sleep in my spell book. Lady Min, if you have your spell book, I might be willing to trade you a spell in my spell book if I could copy your sleep spell in return.
I don't see why not.
So what I have in my spell book are the spells Burning Hands, Detect Magic, Featherfall, Jump, Comprehend Languages, Light, and Read Magic.
And she kind of looks over at her friends like, and kind of gives a
Read
shrug.
magic. If you don't have read magic already, that's when you probably want to get.
I didn't. Sorry, out of character. I could not understand you. I'm so sorry.
I said if you don't have read magic already, that's when I probably want if I were you.
What does read magic do?
If you find anything magical, it allows you to understand what it is. Now, I'm going to go to the official book and give you the actual definition so you know what it does.
I'm surprised you started the game without it. Usually,
yeah,
you start with like
Read
4
magic
spells, and two of them are like read magic and detect magic.
yeah. So by By means of a read magic spell, the wizard is able to read magical inscriptions on objects, books, scrolls, weapons, and the like that would otherwise be totally unintelligible. And this deciphering does not normally invoke the magic contained in the writing, although it may do so in the case of a cursed scroll. Furthermore, once the spell is cast and the wizard has read the magical inscription, he or she is thereafter able to read that particular writing without recourse to the use of read magic spell again. So the duration of the spell is 2 rounds per level of experience of the caster. The wizard can read 1 page or its equivalent per round.
So if you found somebody else's spell book, you might be able to read their spell book with it.
You could.
Exactly. Exactly.
I would see if I can finagle read and detect for the sleep spell. Sleep's a very good spell.
We've heard of your generosity, so it's wonderful that you're willing to be so supportive of a young wizard.
Could I offer money to learn a second one if I trade for the first one?
And he says, "Oh, of course. I do have a normal rate that I charge, and Lord Rufus Burne, we've had a conversation about this. You remember, this is the Temple of Elemental Evil we're dealing with." He says,
I don't mind paying to learn another spell to put in my book.
and Burne listens to you and looks over at Rufus and says, "Yes, Rufus, you're quite right. Normally, I ask students or other wizards to help fund my research by paying 1,000 gold per level of any spell that they learn from my book. But for you, I will ask only 500 for a first level spell instead of 1,000.
Do that.
What's
Very
your armor
well.
class, man?
What's my what?
Your armor class. Your natural armor class.
My armor class.
I think it's going to be
It's low.
just, like it's either like 10 or 9. It depends on whether she has
8. Yeah.
8.
there you go.
Okay. Is that with a
Is that
dex
because you're a
bonus?
cat?
What?
Or dexterity? Is that dexterity? Is that a dexterity bonus?
Let me see.
It's either dexterity or racial.
I have a +1 for dexterity.
Okay, so it's probably she starts with a base of 9 and then she's got 8 because of dex. But yeah, as a wizard, I don't think she's allowed to wear any armor.
No, she's
So
not.
she
but
would have.
That's why I asked her. Is because there's a spell called Armor in second edition that's pretty good. If you want to look that over. Perhaps,
Yeah.
I don't know if he has it or not.
Yeah, he doesn't have it in his spell book.
While
That
this is
first
being
level.
talked about, Nico slips a pouch with 100 gold over to Min towards the cost.
Kind of looks down at that and looks over at him and is like,
You saved me more than this on equipment with that merchant.
oh. Are you sure? I can afford it myself. You should use it
Yeah,
for
I'm
something
hoping
else.
that you can. I'm hoping you can afford a couple. I'm wearing thousands of gold in equipment already because of the party's generosity. So take this with my blessing to help you get more spells.
I wouldn't call it generosity. It's in my self-interest for you to be as protected as possible, so you can stand between me and the monsters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and this
You
group
get in the front. You get in the front,
It's
Tank.
odd that the healer stands in the front in this group.
Okay.
It works for me, man.
Oh,
Nico,
brother.
just understand, Nico, that everybody stands behind you.
Yes.
We
We all stand behind Nico.
That's why Nico takes baths so often, because Nico's worried about snow.
Yeah.
And so, all right. So you can jot down that
Because if we can get you to afford 2 spells, it's worth buying the 2 spells.
Yeah.
Like one free spell and then buy 2. Because the armor spell would be great for you eventually.
Yeah, well, like I said, he doesn't have armor, so you'll have to find that somewhere else.
I'm gonna trade read magic for the sleep spell.
For the sleep spell. So add read magic to your spell list. And then the rest of the options are Burning Hands, Detect Magic, Feather Fall, Jump, Comprehend Languages, and Light.
So many good options.
Yeah.
Detect Magic, Comprehend Language.
Light is a really awesome spell because if you cast it on a single target, it makes them -4. Like it makes it easier for you to hit them, and it puts them at a negative to hit us.
But if you cast it on their eyes, but you have to, they get a saving throw versus that.
Yeah, they get a save versus that, and then if you miss, it just becomes a glowing light over their shoulder.
Yeah. I'm not crazy about light as an offensive spell. I mean, it's good for utility now. But as an offensive spell, they're better spells. She's got 2 of them.
What's Burning Hands?
Burning Hands causes jets of flame to leap out from your fingers. Let's see how in this edition.
You got to roll the hit.
It's like a jet spray spell.
Yeah, a jet of searing flame shoots out from the fingertips, and the jets are 5 feet long and in a horizontal arc about 120 degrees in front of the wizard. And then the damage is 1d3 plus 2 points of damage for each level of experience. So in your case, it would be 1d3 plus 4 fire damage every time you use this. And it's a saving
only
throw.
At level 1 for spellcasting.
No, but you're a 2nd level character.
Oh, okay.
It'll scale up as you get higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had Burning Hands, Detect Magic, Featherfall, Jump, Light, Comprehend. Yeah, I say Comprehend Magic. Good God. Languages. Did I miss anything again?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I tell him, why don't we work on the trading the magic, and I'll decide on the other one after I've had a chance to think about it.
Okay. He is very happy to get the sleep and happy to let you have the read magic. And then after dinner, after you've had your dessert, the Lord Rufus will say, well, I invited you here in part to tell you a little bit about the Temple of Elemental Evil and the cult that you have stumbled onto. For many years, there was a cult of chaotic evil that flourished somewhere on the shores of Near Div, the great lake that lies beyond the city of Greyhawk. Although the location of that temple was lost for a long time, there are certain facts regarding that temple and its followers. The cult was based on the premise that the elemental forces of the universe are chaotic and are opposed to mankind, and thus, from our point of view, they are evil. The temple of the cult sought to destroy all works of good and to disrupt order. All of its members were thieves, assassins, brigands, and the like. Fire was regarded as the first elemental evil, and its penchant for chaos fitted the premise of the cult. Water was likewise worshipped as an even more powerful force of chaotic evil, in the form of floods, storms, and raging seas beating up the land and ocean vessels. The epitome of chaotic evil, however, was regarded as a combination of air and earth, represented by blackness and corresponding with the demonic abyss. This combination was regarded as a complete negation of living matter. Back in many days before our time, the cult grew powerful and rich, attracting followers of the worst sort and offering them safety within the walls of their original temple stronghold. From this fortress, the followers would ride to rob, pillage, and every so often, a group would go and establish a satellite temple somewhere. It was this temple that we found not far from the city of Verbabank, not too far, in fact, from the village of Nulb, which is the next town over from Hommlet. Now, at each of these strongholds and each of these temples, riders would go forth to rob, pillage, and lay waste to the lands about, tithing to the cult from the spoils of their carnage. Captives from those raids were also brought back to the temple to serve as human sacrifices. I tell you, it was horrible. I remember when we went into that temple for the first time, and we saw the bodies of women buried alive in the earth. The burned bodies of children still attached to the stakes where they were burned, and the corpses of men in the water where they had been drowned. These are not good people. They must be stopped. Now I'll tell you that what we found there was an upper work of the temple, and the priests that were with us bade us seal that temple with molten lead and wax, and put great chains on the portals of the doors after we had slain everyone we found inside. But underneath the temple, there were deep dungeons that went down and down and down into the earth. We scoured those as best we could and killed everything we could find there, but I thought at the time there must be some, as extensive as those works were, there must be some that managed to hide and evade our search parties. And there was also forces from the abyss that were there. Demons whose corporeal forms could be destroyed, but who would almost immediately reform in the abyss and merely wait for the next time to be summoned back to this or some other plane. Enemies like that you cannot easily destroy. You can only slow them down. What I will do is I will reach out over the coming days to a few of Burne's and my old adventuring companions, folk who now have retired in the city of Greyhawk, or in Verbabank, or in other idyllic places. We'll see if there's any more intelligence that we can gather. Once you go back to the Moathouse, remove that continual darkness and find any intelligence that you can from the quarters of that leader, then perhaps that together with the intelligence we are able to bring together will give us a better idea of just how much this cult has reconstituted.
I'm sorry, but excuse me. Why would there be any intelligence if he left? I mean, he left at his own accord, and one would think he would have gathered everything that he had, any papers or whatever, taken it with him if he chose to leave Moathouse.
And he looks at Garm, and then he looks at the others, and he says, "I thought you told me that he was gravely wounded and he fled for his life."
No, he was able to retreat back into the darkness and leave ghouls as guards to keep us from following him, even if we could have gone through that darkness. So he didn't leave, and it's been days now.
The ghouls seem to be eating his minions, so I don't know that they were necessarily his
they were
minion choice, but he didn't seem to have a problem with them. But he was beat up pretty badly. We did a pretty good job of surrounding him and smacking the evil out of him.
Yeah, because we didn't defeat him. I don't think that there's going to be anything that he would have wanted that left behind like that. We didn't kill him. We didn't incapacitate him.
And I did talk trash about his goddess.
But you did deprive him of his men.
Yes.
Who would presumably have been the ones to lug all of his valuables. Perhaps there are some documents he was able to take, but I would be willing to bet that there is at the very least some amount of treasure left there that you can claim for your own. Perhaps some magic that you can find. And if there are any artifacts, they might give us clues, even if we don't have any written documents.
Yes, we will retrieve as much as we.
Very good. Anything you can take from them is one item less that they have at their disposal. Make no mistake, to wipe out a squadron of over a score of men, including some leaders, that kind of manpower is going to take some time to backfill with recruits and training.
We also deprived him of bugbears because they had hired some bugbears.
Bugbears? Oh, now this is very curious. So they're in league with goblinoids.
Yes.
Burne says, bugbears, nasty creatures, sly, more intelligent than the average goblinoid, very militaristic. But they die easily enough in a fireball.
Which we don't have.
Also works really well. Like, Madam Mim just put down like 4 or 5 of them with one move.
She's kind of sitting there going.
And and Burne looks at her and says, "Very well done." And
preens a little bit under the attention. Meanwhile, her brain is going, "When did I do that?"
You put a bunch of them to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. To her, that
Put the
sounded
whole
like,
room-
well, you just wipe the floor with them, you just
You
kill
put
them
out-
all. And she's like,
You,
what?
you put down the entire room of them to sleep.
Yes.
Yep.
She understands that, but she's sitting there still going, but all I did was put him to sleep. I didn't kill him.
And Lord Rufus says, "Yes, Burne, I was very sad on the day that your original spell book got consumed in that fire after the battle. Do you remember in our earliest days of adventuring how easily we were able to vanquish much larger numbers of foes by you simply being able to put half of the battlefield to sleep?" And Burne kind of gives a grin and takes a sip of his wine, and then he looks over at Archimedes and raises his glass and says, "This is fine stuff. Thank you very much."
Tip the bottle.
And
Give a little bit more.
And he's, "Ooh." And then he looks back at Rufus and he says, "Yes," he says, those were the days. I would put the enemies to sleep, and you would go around with your trusty dagger and simply slit their throats to end the battle. And then we would collect the riches, and off we would go to the next battle." And Rufus says, "Yes, that was the way to deal with evil. Kill them where they stood and leave their bodies for the dogs." And they share a little laugh about that. And they say, "Well, after you get back from your next foray to the Moathouse, we should have more information for you." And Min, was there anything that you wanted to? Did you decide what other spell you wanted to take?
I'd like to do burning hands.
Okay. All right.
Is Archimedes going to take spell as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Archimedes at second.
I need to get set up
level,
on it though. Yeah.
At second level, as a bard, do you now have access to spells, or is that?
Are you
Yeah,
at
he's
second
actually
or
third level.
Bards?
It's third level.
Oh, okay. Third level. Do you have
Third level.
access to spells now?
Yeah, you
Yes,
got him
I
at second
should.
level.
Yeah, but I don't have any. I don't have any
Well,
access to anything right now. So
Fine spells, yeah. So
you get it through wizards. Yeah.
unless you trade with men, or she gives you a spell like it, you don't have to trade.
Yeah.
I
So
need to
let's-
acquire a spell
You would be
book.
able to get access to a wizard spell right now then.
And that would be Read Magic would have been the first one.
Okay. Let me go to the bar. Okay. Yeah. Okay. At third level, you would also have 2 spells, or 2 spell slots at first level. And then let me just double take do a double take here.
And you
on
and Min
the-
could always teach each other spells.
If she's willing.
Oh, yeah. it's
Okay.
Whoa.
The bard. Okay, you will need a spell book And let me take a look and see what the suggested price for a spell book is. I think that should be under equipment somewhere. Equipment lists. All right, transport services. Okay. Wizard spellbook. All right. Then we'll go and we'll look at S. 183, 107, 108. 43. Okay. Oh yes, spell books can be. There's not a specific cost for a spell book. In some editions, there is an actual item called a spell book that has a cost to it. In this edition, spell books for wizards and bards, they're just like any kind of thing. It might be actually a physical book, or it might be a sheaf of scrolls, or a collection, something like a journal that he keeps that in, or it could be if you have a book where you write down notes on songs or stories or things like that, you could even have part of that as your spell book. So there's not really a cost for it. You would just have to get those spells. And he will make you the same offer, 500 gold per spell, or per first level spell that you want to learn from him. If that's too pricey for you, then maybe you can work something out with Min, or and copy spells from her, or you can wait until you guys start running across scrolls, and
that's what I was going to do. I was going to basically do the 500 or whatever towards read magic, and then leave one spell slot open for what we come upon.
If Min's willing to trade with you, it might be worth getting something other than read magic. Because
I'm willing to trade with you. I would say don't get read magic because I'll give it to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now
So
what he has that Min does not have at this point in time is he has detect magic. So if you can detect magic and she can read magic, that would.
And if we're going to switch off, then I would just take something that she doesn't have, either like that or Featherfall.
Yeah.
What my thing was going to be either Featherfall or something else that she didn't have, and detect magic or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
I still want to leave. I still want to leave one spell slot open for myself, or my book, so that I don't, that I can kind of copy into from what we find.
Okay. Yeah. Now, let me just double check.
Does Archimedes wear armor?
Yes.
You won't be
wearing ring armor.
Spells while wearing that armor. I guess it depends on whether you're going to take combat spells at all, or if you're just going to take stuff that you.
No, I would be taking. Yeah, the only one I thought I would be doing that I might do would be Burning Hands, but it takes up both my hands, so that's. It was kind of like, At Featherfall, I would want to do Featherfall or something like.
You don't lose.
Magic.
You can It doesn't seem to have a limit on the number of spells you can have in your spell book. Again, it's just how many you can cast in a day.
There's
Right.
a limit. There's a limit. It's based on your intelligence.
Right.
Yeah, there is a limit.
Is there still a
the
chance?
attribute. If you have a low intelligence, you can only memorize a certain number.
There is a chance. You have to make an intelligence check. To
Learn the spell.
But that's a
learn the
maximum
spell.
number of spells per level, though, for the limit on number of spells. So if you had an intelligence of 9, you would be limited to 6 spells per level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
6
and
first level spells and 6 second level.
And I can only cast 7th level spells. 2.
Okay.
7th level, my maximum spell level.
Only.
Yeah. Okay, so you can get you can make a check to see if you are able to copy the detect magic, and at first level or at second level, which is when you get spells, you should have anywhere from 1 to 4 spells in your spell book. And like Jera was saying, as long as you don't fill up your spell book with as many first level spells as you are able to know, you can add more. So you could take one that Min doesn't know, and then if your intelligence check succeeds, you can copy others from Min's spell book. She can copy the spell from your spell book, and
we could trade off on the
you
spells.
can trade off, yeah. And then you would still have the room to add spells to it. Now, if some point in the future you have the maximum number of spells, I think we could say that you would sacrifice a spell from your spell book that you previously knew to put a new one in if there was something that was really a lot more useful.
Did Mia make her a chance to learn on Burning Hands?
Okay, I'm looking at the Bard right now. Let's take a look at the Wizard. Learning new spells.
If it's the intelligence checks, mine right now is at chain. I think it's supposed to be chance, but it says
chance
change
to learn spells. Yeah, chance to learn spells. If you got a 14 intelligence, 60%. So you have to roll on a 60 or under to learn that spell.
And I don't remember if having another wizard teaching you its higher level gives a bonus or not, but I forget.
No, it doesn't. It's all based on your intelligence.
On my intelligence.
They can talk you to your blue in the face, but you got to be able to understand what they're saying. And that's all based on your intelligence. But she should try to make one too based on her intelligence to learn the Burning Hands.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what is your intelligence. What is your intelligence score, Min? Let's do one of you guys at a time. So, what's your intelligence score, Min?
My intelligence score is 16.
16. So you have a 70% chance to learn any given spell. So go ahead and
I thought what I
go
read
ahead and
was
roll. Hold on. We're not doing you yet. Min, go ahead and roll percentile dice, and let's make sure that you get a 70 or under.
Is it the little dice that's under the 70%?
Yes.
It says spell name.
Okay, no. Go to the go to the dice roller tool on Roll20, and
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so I need
And then in the dice roller tool, under the advanced roll, grab a D100 and then roll that.
Really?
Okay. Oh, 11. That's under 70.
Your low is good.
So Min, you learn Burning Hands. Now, Archimedes.
If you just click that deal and you don't put anything in there where it said anything, you just click through it and you're able to do it.
Mm.
That's what I was doing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just click it, and once it asks you something, you just next or submit, and then you go to the next one and you submit, and then it rolls it for you.
Okay. Then Archimedes, it looks like you got a 66. So the detect magic, just can't. You can't get that. Burne's notation is just a little bit too convoluted.
Okay.
So let's go back, and I'm gonna put the list of those down there again. So,
And as I was trying to say, is that when you, it's what I had read was that you could write down, if you've got the read magic, you can write down the magic in your book. But when you first go to cast it is when you do the chance to learn. And if you succeed, then you go into to do the spell. And then it said, I believe it said that from that point on, you know the spell, so you don't have to keep rolling to learn the spell. So if you're trying to cast it from your book and whatever, if you fail, then you can't cast that spell,
No.
but it's still in your spell book.
If you can't understand it, you can't put it in your book.
Okay, yeah. Under chance to learn spell, here's what it says in this edition of the Player's Handbook. Chance to learn spell is the percentage probability that a wizard or bard can learn a particular spell. The check is made as the character comes across new spells. So it's when you learn, or when you first encounter the new spell, that's when you make the check. It's It's not after you have copied it. If you don't understand it, you can't even copy it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it says if the player rolls a listed percentage or less, the character can learn the spell and copy it into his own spell book. If the player fails the roll, they cannot check for that spell again until the character advances to the next level.
Right. Okay.
So, presuming you make it to 4th level, you could come back to Burne and see if you could
get the
decipher detect magic again.
Right.
So I put in the Discord the list of 1st level spells he has available. Now, Min already has the Burning Hands and has the Read Magic. Detect Magic was a bust. So there's Featherfall, Jump, Comprehend Languages, and Light.
And I'll probably do the Featherfall then.
Okay. So go ahead and make a check to see if you can learn the Featherfall. Ah, yes. Okay. So you have Featherfall. All right. And the last thing we will do for the evening is we will go ahead and we will And, well, let me double check. Is there anything else you guys need to do, or are you ready to get going to the Moathouse in the next morning?
Have we gotten a priest to either come with us and tell that?
Yeah, he's gonna be ready the next morning after this dinner.
Did we get confirmed about how many potions we could buy, and also, was there any like potions, like antidote potions or poison, like cure poison potions available?
Oh, well.
Because I put aside money for it, but I just put pending because we hadn't confirmed the potion.
Okay, those potions of healing will be 100 gold pieces each. And then let me take a look at going back here and seeing what okay. What kind of Oh, let me just double check in this edition. Because in first edition, a potion of healing would do either one, but it wouldn't do both at the same time. So let me go and double check what it says here about healing potion. So, potion. Okay. Then healing. All right. My hunch is that in second edition it's going to work the same way it did in first edition, which is that when you give somebody a potion of healing, there's 2 ways that they work. Or it works one of 2 ways, and you tell the DM which way you want it to work. If the person has been poisoned, you can say, I'm giving them a potion of healing to cure the poison.
No, that's not how it works. There's a separate potion for that. Neutralized poison.
Oh, a separate potion in this? Because it's not listed in the... It's not listed on the table here, I don't think.
Neutralized poison?
Neutralize poison. Okay. Neutralize poison. Huh. Okay. I see all these oils. I see... I'm not seeing that in the player's handbook. You would think that that would be a basic thing they would have in the player's handbook.
Should be in the DMG.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm in the DMG.
Okay.
Not the player's handbook.
There's a percentage chance I have just having the healing and herbalism seal, so it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
No, herbalism is not going to help you with somebody poison. Not really. It might give them another saving throw, but it's not going to cure it.
Ah, here it is. It's the elixir of health. Or at least that's the one I'm finding. This potion cures blindness, deafness, disease, feeble-mindedness, insanity, infection, infestation, poisoning, and rot.
That's expensive.
It will not, but I'm looking for the one that says neutralize poison. Jara, I believe you. It's just I want to find it.
Yeah, I'm opening up the MG in a PDF to see.
Yeah. Because I'm in the appendix where it has the list or the description of all the poisons. And I can't find neutralize poison. Okay, whatever, vitality. Okay, ventriloquism. Okay, plant control. Longevity, levitation, invulnerability. Charisma healing. Let's just go back to extra healing. Nope. Nope. Ammunition. Jeez. Okay. Fudge.
Well, he's looking that up. How much gold is 1 platinum worth again? 10?
5.
So, yeah.
5 in this
platinum.
edition.
5? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 5. Thank you.
Dang it. Oh, neutralize poison is a spell.
Yeah.
Okay. Neutralize poison is a spell. So what they can do is they can give you some scrolls of neutralize poison. Not potions of neutralize poison.
Yeah, I think they're divine scrolls, and there'll be like a level, like 3rd level or something, and I don't think I can use a 3rd level scroll yet.
Yeah, but the cleric who's going with you could do that.
In that case, I'm going to have given you 12.5 gold for vials of holy water, and I'll give you enough for 5 of that. And then I'm going to give you 600 gold for 6 potions of healing.
Okay. All right.
I've got 7 gold left in the vault, basically.
Okay. So yeah, you guys, when I gave you all those PMs, basically that was just I had made an initial entry, but I hadn't been tracking anything later in that session or in subsequent sessions. So that's just my way of saying, all right, from here on, I'm trusting you guys to keep track of what gold you have in your own vault. And I'm not going to do the accounting.
I got a question about that. Let's say my character dies. Am I able to will that to my next character, or is it just gone?
If you have that in a vault somewhere, and then if you want your next character to have that, then maybe there's a connection between your character that died and your next character. It doesn't have to be a blood relative. It could be, a former, friend or a family friend or something like that. Because if you want to play something of a different race, that's fine. But just kind of make a plausible reason that the new character would have a connection with the old character in order to get that. Because I would think that otherwise If there wasn't a connection, it would go to the party. Now the party may decide, oh, okay, well, Jera's first character died. We have control of that vault. As soon as his next character shows up, we'll just give him that. And that's their decision.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it being a blood relative. I only play humans. I never play anything
Okay.
else.
Yeah. I just think, like, if, Bob dies and then Joe shows up, and suddenly Joe has access to Bob's vault. It's like, okay, well, wait, why? How?
Because he got changed self and he appeared as Archimedes and he went ahead and stole all his money.
I still need to get that spell or like polymorph or whatever.
There you go. See?
Yeah, there you go.
So I can change either into a cat or into a human, not a mix.
Yeah.
4th level spell.
Crispy Garm, your money will be well spent if you happen to perish.
Well, I want to will it to my next character, so that way I know it'll get well spent.
There's
Yeah,
a will
okay,
and testament left in the vault.
Yes, there you go. Will and Testament. And, for all anybody knows, you had perfect foresight and you knew who that character was going to be, because when they open the vault, they say, oh, yeah, this is meant for Johnny. And guess what? Johnny's a new character that that you rolled up. Okay, yeah, sure. It says this belongs to Johnny, so Johnny gets it. Yeah, that's probably a good way of.
I love
Okay,
how he's already planning on having his character die.
consider it in there.
It's 2nd edition. Having your plans for when your character dies isn't that bad of an idea.
Yeah, it's not that
I'm
bad.
2nd level, and we're talking about going to the Temple of Elemental Evil. I expect to die.
Yeah. Well, if this is, this whole adventure is designed to take you up through 8th level, so it's not like they're gonna,
What I'm saying is, if we didn't have those gnolls, we wouldn't have stood a chance against that fight in that fight. So
yeah,
I think we're a little bit under level for where we are already. And now we're talking about going to the temple. Yeah, I want to go ahead and get this taken care of for my next character. His name will be Zion. I'm going to will it to him.
Okay, Zion. I love it. Okay, Jera, if Garm does not have DM inspiration at this point, go ahead and give him DM inspiration.
Awesome, thank you. I think I gave it to the dwarf last time.
Okay, all right. So, yes, do that. All right, and now that the accounting is all done, when we meet next time, we will immediately get started with going back to the Temple of Elemental Evil. Tonight...
Moathouse.
The Moathouse. I'm sorry. The Moathouse.
Wait a minute.
And the Father Rule will be going along with you. He will carry a number of scrolls of neutralized poison, and he will you guys have some potions of healing. If anybody wants to spend money at the beginning of the session to buy potions of healing of their own, they can do that. Figure out how much you want to allocate. Remember, it's 100 gold per potion, and then we'll dive right back into that adventure. I think because of where we are, I'm going to go ahead and make this a really easy session in terms of experience. For everybody's contribution, you can go ahead and give yourselves, since now everybody is at least 2nd level, everybody get 400 experience. for the session. You'll find that the way I try to do experience, gradually the baseline per session will go up, because I kind of like the idea of keeping on a pace that every few sessions people get a chance to level, and not when we're doing experience points, and not do, okay, we've been 10 sessions and we're all still stuck at second level as we're not fighting enough, or we're not getting enough experience for doing things. It just is nice to sort of keep that going along. It's only in the campaigns where I use milestones that I sometimes make people wait a long time between raising levels, because they haven't reached the milestone yet. So, all right, everybody, we will talk to you. I believe. Wait a minute. Is the 24th the next home match? I think the 24th is the next home match. Let me just make sure. July. And this team. July 9th. July 18th. Yes, next Saturday night, I will be at a soccer game. So, our next game will be on the 31st. So no game next week. We'll be back on the 31st, and we will immediately head back to the Moathouse. And I'm going to update the treasure sheet and experience sheet right now, so that we have that, and then I'll put the notice for Well, Casca wasn't here, so he doesn't get any XP from this session, but okay, so XP from the session 400 for all PC except talent. Okay. All right. This is story point. All right. Basically, that was for finding out more information about the obstacles ahead. All right, everyone. Take care, and we will talk to you in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thanks for the
Yes.
session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
good luck.
All right.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And for those of you on the Twitch, we will be here tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 or 2 p.m. Eastern Time, for the Walker of Waterdeep campaign. Monday night, we will be back for Monster Monday, and this week we are looking at Nagas, the history of Nagas in D&D. And then Thursday night, we will be back for our Sword Coast Chronicles game, and in that game, the party has actually discovered and freed a bronze dragon that was being held captive in the Cloud Giant's castle. And they are getting ready to, along with their ally, go around and start fighting Cloud Giants. So that ought to be fun. Fun at 10,000 feet. Just hope that nobody throws them off the castle, because I don't think any of them have Featherfall.
What? That's the first thing you get when you go to the giant.
All right.
All right.
All right, everyone. Take care. We will talk to you later.
Good night. Thanks all.
Thanks. Thank you.